PS4 and PS5 jailbreak news update. Got lots of topics here to dive into in this video. So starting with the PlayStation 4 in terms of some exploit updates. So of course we got the update of 13.04 for the PS4, which adds some security fixes to the system software. And this was PlayStation trying to patch the Blu-ray vulnerabilities that were present up to 13.02 with the path traversal bug. However, what it appears to be is that they haven't properly patched it in 13.04, according to 15432, who has been looking into this, and also posted here by Zeko saying that path traversal is still possible on 13.04 because Sony messed up big time. Expect it to be patched in something like 13.50 or 14.0. So whatever the next update for the PS4 is, they will likely patch it properly, but it seems that they have not fully patched it in 13.04. There's still vulnerabilities in there that could be exploited to allow some kind of Blu-ray userland exploit to work up to firmware 13.04. So that's good news because that's currently the latest firmware that's available, but we are only talking about userland exploits here, not kernel. The latest kernel exploit only works up to 13.0, but any Blu-ray exploit that comes out on 13.0 or higher could be chained with that kernel exploit to be able to jailbreak up to 13.0. However, of course, we have the PSVue exploit incoming, and we are now in February, so it should be sometime this month that it does get an official release. We also got a video posted by Dr. Yen, who has the exploit up and running on their console, showing their console in the jailbroken state after loading the jailbreak using the PSVue exploit, where we can see the console is running the open source version of the homebrew enabler and is also loading homebrew applications like the Apollo save tool on firmware 13.0. So that's just a little teaser of what's to come once we have the PSVue exploit released for the PS4. We also got confirmation from HackerOne about Gezine's report. So the $10,000 bounty that Gezine received for some kind of vulnerability that was reported there, that has now been confirmed. As you can see here, it is now appearing in the Hacktivity section. Now, in some bad news relating to exploits, it looks like the YouTube jailbreak and the Netflix in hack for the PS5 have been patched on the latest PS5 firmware update, which was 12.60. So Gezine here saying Sony patched Y2JB at 12.60. Netflix is also patched. They blocked all media apps license, now requiring PSN to get a license. So it seems that they have finally fixed the big oversight that they had with the PS5, which was allowing media applications to run without a license. As long as you had an activated account, you could load applications like YouTube and Netflix, whereas on the PS4, they always required a license. Even though the application is free, it would still require a license to be downloaded from PSN to be able to use it. And that's now being applied here to the PS5 on firmware 12.60 and higher. So yeah, don't update to 12.60, of course, on the PS5 if you want to be able to use YouTube jailbreak and Netflix and hack userland exploits in the future. Stay on a firmware below 12.60. But obviously you should stay on as low a firmware as possible. So another development for the PS5 in terms of running your PS5 game backups is we have a new format that can be used to run your PS5 game backups, which is known as ffpkg. So ffpkg is not fake packages. It's essentially a UFS2 image that is created from your game dump, and that UFS2 image can then be mounted to run on the PS5. So the idea here is just to change it so it's not a folder that contains thousands of files in it. It's now essentially one file that you can transfer over and get it loaded on the PS5. So there was a release of this from Earth Onion. It is still in its very early stages here, and this is the script that was released to actually transform your game dump into one of these UFS images. This is how you can now set up the environment to make a UFS image mountable by the PS4 or PS5. There may be other methods, but this is how I've done it. Unfortunately, this script requires FreeBSD to run, but hopefully there'll be, other ways to transform and create the UFS2 image for this without having to use FreeBSD in the future. But generally, the idea is that you take your game dump that has hundreds of thousands of files in it, which normally take a long time to transfer, especially if you're trying to copy it over the network to your internal storage, and you have, games with hundreds of thousands of files. It takes a long time to queue up all of those files and transfer them all. Whereas if you have it as just one file, you can transfer it over faster because you can just, throw the maximum bandwidth at transferring that one file and get it copied over faster. So you only need two arguments for the script, which are the folder for your game dump and also the output file. which will create the UFS2 image of your game. And once that is created, you can essentially put that on a USB or transfer it to the internal storage. And then with a new test build of Shadow Mount that has been created to mount these UFS images, then you can use that and it will automatically detect the game dump and mount it for you so that you can load your game dump as a UFS2 image, or as a ffpkg as it's been known. So it's essentially just a different format for being able to load your PS5 game dumps instead of just having all of the game files stored inside a folder. Now, in some more good news, it looks like actual fake packages for the PS5 are being looked into by Flats at the moment, who said that I've finally started looking into PS5 packages today. The ending goal is to create fpkg fake package, but it will take a lot of time due to lack of spare time, and they even obfuscate CMD parsing using hashes instead of CMD argument strings. So annoying, wish me luck. So again, we don't know if he'll be successful or how long it will take, but obviously that's something that a lot of people have been wanting for a long time, is the ability to install and run fake packages like we can do with PS4 games, but being able to do that with native PlayStation 5 applications as well, which up till now has been unobtainable. So we also got the release of Kstuff Lite version 1.0 from Stretch. So this is designed to be a less bloated version of Kstuff that you can run, a more lightweight version. And he says here that this started as me trying to figure out 2.50, and then I ended up deleting stuff, moving offsets around. I also needed to test on a test kit, so I added support for that too. So support's also been added for test kits and development kit consoles as well with this version of Kstuff. So that is now available. The previous normal version of Kstuff is also still there, so this does not replace Kstuff. This is just a more lightweight version that you can run if you prefer it. So I'll leave a link to this, of course, down in the video description. So in other news, we also got the release of the NP fake-signin payload for PS4 and PS5 from EarthOnion. We saw a test payload. I did a video on the test payload not long ago, but we now have the full releases available, and it's now available for PS4 and PS5. The PS4 version will be handy for the PSVue exploit, because of course there are certain pop-up notifications you get when running the PSVue application, and running this payload on your account and properly activating it will effectively prevent some of those notifications from appearing, so that you can just load the PSVue application with one click and get the whole exploit loaded. It will be a lot smoother with that payload. And then also we have the version for PS5, which can unlock certain features that are normally locked on fake activated accounts on the PS5. The way it works is that you need to first of all fake activate your account in the same way you would normally do on a jailbroken PS5. So if you don't care about the account ID, then you can just use ETA-hen and go to the remote play settings on a local account, and that will automatically activate the account for you. And you can just restart your console and the account will then be offline activated. If you want to activate using a specific account ID, then you can use the offline account activator from John Turnblom from the PS5 payload repo. Use that project with the homebrew launcher to manually activate your account using a specific account ID, and then reboot the console. And once you have your account activated, you can then send this PS5 payload over the network to your console, and that will properly fix the activation, the fake sign-in, so that it will enable certain features on the console that are normally locked on fake activated accounts, like the remote play settings, which will now be accessible, as well as the ability to transfer your PS4 saves between the console and a USB drive, which is a very useful feature that's normally been blocked off to us if you have a fake activated account, but can now be enabled using this new payload. So that's what's available there from EarthOnion. So two interesting projects there from EarthOnion. A couple of other quick topics here just to end the video on. We also have Victorious X releasing a new version of the all-in-one Blu-ray ISO for the PS5 up to firmware 7.61, so the 7.61 Blu-ray exploit. So this version includes a pretty big update, updating to the latest Kstuff build from Stretch, the latest web server payload, the latest FTP payload, shadow mounts added, backport payloads also been added, the NP sign-in payload from EarthOnion's been added, as well as the kernel log server, and the GDB server and the SSH server has also been added. So all of that is now included in this particular version. And last but not least, we've got some progress in jailbreaking the PlayStation VR2 with this VR2 jailbreak. It's not a proper jailbreak at this point, but it does allow for recovery mode to be accessed on the PSVR2. So it says here, PlayStation VR2 Jailbreak utility currently only offers recovery mode capabilities. Our hope is that providing this exploit publicly, we can get more people interested in trying to jailbreak the PSVR2. Although this isn't a full PSVR2 jailbreak yet, we hope that this pushes things into the right direction. So it's not a full jailbreak yet, but it is an exploit that can allow for enabling recovery capabilities on the PSVR2, which could hopefully open up new developments in being able to jailbreak the PSVR2. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one. So hope you guys enjoyed this video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I'll hopefully see you guys